You space bastard! You killed my pan!
Alright, so the new Marvel movie, Captain America, Winter Soldier. I was kind of interested, but not enough to really go check it out in the theater. But then I started getting such good reviews. Everybody that I talked to and heard from said that it's one of the best Marvel movies. That is super fun and everything. So I had a free movie ticket that I needed to use anyway. So I decided to go see it. I actually saw it last Thursday. And it's directed by relative newcomers, at least for feature-length movies. Their names are Anthony and Joe Russo. I think they must be brothers or something. They haven't really done much for movies. They directed You, Me, and Dupree, and then a lot of TV. Like, they're most known for Community. They directed episodes of Community. But anyways, so a lot of the original cast is back. We're all familiar with most of these people if you watch any of the Marvel movies or anything like that. So Chris Evans is back as Steve Rogers, Captain America. Samuel Jackson, of course, is back as Nick Fury, the commander of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Scarlett Johansson, who has been in almost everything recently. She's back as Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. And a couple other people you probably recognize, like Colby Smulders plays Maria Hill, one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And then there's some newcomers. So some new characters in this movie are Robert Redford, who hasn't acted in much recently. He did that All Is Lost. It was like his own Castaway movie. But other than that, he hasn't really acted very much, so interesting to see him back in action in this movie. He plays a man named Alexander Pierce. And I don't think he's a politician per se. He kind of seems like it, though. He's kind of in charge of international group. There's like an international committee, and he's one of the members of it. And he's kind of like in charge of Nick Fury, so he's like even above him in S.H.I.E.L.D. and it kind of runs everything. Anthony Mackie, he's in Hurt Locker, a couple other movies. He's in this movie. His name's Sam Wilson. He's a soldier. Initially, later he becomes the superhero, the Falcon. I'm not actually really familiar with that superhero, but that's who he plays. And so yeah, I guess the plot, I'll get into that a little bit. The movie starts with Captain America, Steve Rogers, and Natasha, Black Widow. They're going on a mission. There's like a freighter or a big ship that's lost at sea somewhere. It's in pirate territory, so it's getting taken over by pirates. They have to go save it, and they do pretty easily. But once they get there, it kind of uncovers a plot that Captain America doesn't like. Steve doesn't like what's going on. He doesn't like what he's seeing. Natasha is kind of there on her own mission to get some information for Nick Fury. And he thinks that there's too many secrets being kept back from him. Steve does. And so at this point, he's kind of getting kind of skeptical of what Nick Fury's doing and about what S.H.I.E.L.D's doing in general, too. And eventually, there's an attack on S.H.I.E.L.D. and on Nick Fury himself. It's pretty bad, and that's when Steve first runs into the Winter Soldier, the title character. He is a Russian super soldier. He's got like one metal arm, and he can pretty much go beat for beat with Captain America. Their fights are pretty good, and so I really liked the beginning of this movie. And I don't want to give too much information because it's still in theaters and everything like that. And I actually love the way it starts. It's really stripped down as opposed to most of the other Marvel movies. There's a lot of special effects and a lot of technology and all that kind of thing, relying on, the superpowers and all that. You don't get that because Captain America, he doesn't have any real crazy superpowers. He's just, super strong, powerful, fast, but he's not like a Superman or anything like that, or a Spider-Man. He's pretty much just like a super soldier. And it actually just feels like it's a really stripped down, kind of like an action thriller and a mystery. There's a lot of mystery involved, and I like that a lot at the beginning. So Steve Rogers, Captain America, is trying to figure out if the shield is all that they say they are. He's kind of getting some weird vibes from them, thinking that they're hiding a lot. Maybe there's little backdoor dealings going on that he doesn't like, and he gets some of that from Natasha, Black Widow, too. Kind of this weird vibes going on. But yeah, so I really like the way it starts. I was going to give this movie even a higher rating. I'm giving it a 3.75. I was going to give it a higher, but the more I thought about it, the more the ending kind of detracts from the whole film. And that kind of comes down to Marvel movies itself. You know, it's a superhero movie, so you expect there's going to be just one final huge battle. And that's what you get. You know, and this one is actually, unfortunately, it's very derivative of what we just saw in the Avengers. I didn't like that at all. I was like, we just saw this, which is unfortunate, and it kind of drug down the overall score for me down a little bit. But that being said, I think the first half to the first 3/4 of the movie is probably one of the strongest movies in the whole Marvel catalog they have going. It's really good. It's kind of like Marvel's version of like a Bourne movie. I really liked it. I like the interaction with Black Widow and Captain America. Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson have really good chemistry. It's really funny. A lot of their dialogue's really good. I think Natasha's a bit of a standout in this. They give Black Widow a lot to do, and she can kind of display her abilities quite a bit more here. And Scarlett Johansson's a great actress, and I think she does a great job with it, everything that they let her do. On the other side, I didn't think Anthony Mackie's a fine actor and everything like that, but I just thought his character, his superhero character, when it's finally revealed, looks kind of goofy, the Falcon. He just got like these metal wings and some goggles, and I don't know if it was just on him it looked weird, or just the design of the character overall. It just didn't really work for me. There's also, like I said, it's a big mystery movie, and so there's a lot in the second half of the movie that I could talk about, but I don't really want to give any of that away. And I don't want to talk about it too much anyway, but it's really interesting, kind of like the way that they took it, that direction. There's a good War Games reference that Natasha makes. I thought that was really funny. If you're familiar with the movie, you'll probably pick up on it real quick. Well, they mention it and stuff like that. So, I was talking about characters. The Winter Soldier, I really liked that character. He's really badass. Unfortunately, I kind of figured out who the Winter Soldier was, like the whole story about him. Even before I saw the movie, I had just pretty much figured out who it was going to be. But even knowing that, it didn't really detract from it too much. He's a really good character. He's a good, formidable opponent. And, you know, they're so equal, it makes it a lot more interesting to watch. It's not fun to see, like, Superman movies as much because he's just so powerful and stuff like that. I was kind of surprised at the body count in this movie. There's a lot of people being killed, which they can get away with a lot of times in these types of movies because, you know, they don't show blood as much. They don't really show blood, but there's still people dying. It's just interesting to think about the fact that there's just people just getting killed all over the place, but it doesn't seem as bad because you don't necessarily see all of the gore and violence. It's kind of a weird thing. Even though I did like the Winter Soldier and the fights and the action's really good, I think it could have been better. I think it could have been filmed a lot better. And that was one of the reasons that it kind of took the score down a little bit for me too. It's too chaotic. There's a couple scenes when Captain America and Winter Soldier are fighting, and there pretty much is always movement. The camera's always moving. It's not like a shaky cam type of problem, but it's never just stable. And I think it's a problem because of how the scenes are shot. They're pretty close up, and because you're so close and you're always moving, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. I think it would have worked just as well if they backed up, maybe did like a medium shot or a medium long shot, and you get more of the action and the physicality of it. So I don't know why they would just do such a close up of it when you're missing a lot of what's going on. I didn't like that because these people go through like a ton of training and they're in really good shape, and I'm sure they choreographed all this. So why ruin the shot by making it so close up and it's just chaotic, and it messes with your eyes. I didn't like it. I think that might just be kind of a rookie mistake by these directors. They mostly work in TV, and so they're not experienced with this type of shooting. But it definitely detracted because I noticed it. Usually, those things will be passed by, and you're like, okay, might have seemed weird, but I mean, I focused on it and I noticed it a lot. So when that happens, it's kind of a problem. But yeah, I think that was almost it. I kind of forgot about it now, but there was this really annoying guy in my theater that has nothing to do with the movie, man. But this guy, one of those guys sitting behind me, just laughs at everything. So he's laughing at everything that's not even funny. So it makes the funny parts less enjoyable for you because this guy's going to be laughing at everything. And that's just a personal rant there. I don't like that guy. Oh yeah, I also need some confirmation. So if somebody sees this soon and watches my reviews, I gotta know. I swear I heard them mention Iowa City. They're talking, and I think it was Nick Fury is talking about something, different cities and locations in the U.S., and I'm about 95% sure he mentioned Iowa City, which I thought was weird. I was like, why would you just say Iowa City? It's a decently large city, but not on the scale that it should be in this type of movie. So that's got to be related to like one of the writers or something. So if anybody sees this and you watch my review, let me know if they actually say Iowa City in that little sequence of cities. I would like to know. So for movie connections, I already kind of mentioned them. Kind of like a Bourne Identity that has that feel to it, which I really liked. And I also mentioned they really don't rely on all the technology that they do or the superhuman powers that some of these other superhero movies do. And I like that a lot. It makes it just more realistic and different, which is good because unfortunately these movies are getting a bit repetitive, and that's kind of my problem also with the ending a lot is how the plot structure of these movies are going to go now. They're always going to have to end with this big battles, big climactic scene, and unfortunately this one just kind of recycles the one that they just used in the Avengers. So I think I like this one a little bit more than the first Captain America movie. And again, that had the same kind of situation. I really, really liked the beginning of that first Captain America movie. But then I thought that faltered towards the end too. At the ending, it switched gears a lot with his whole group of fighters that he was with. And something about the ending of that movie just felt weird too. And I don't know, I think these movies, they're good, they're entertaining for sure, but I feel like they're running out of things to do, running out of ways to be original, seeing all the same characters, always ending with similar sequences towards the end, and I mean, this reused the Avengers ending a little bit too much for my liking, and like, for instance, for an Iron Man movie, how that's going to end. All of his movies have ended with him fighting some sort of other mechanical guys, just like him. So that's really boring. And I liked Iron Man 3 up until the ending was okay, but at the same time, it's the same thing. It's just a bunch more of Iron Man fighting Iron Man type soldiers or whatever. So yeah, I guess that's a little personal preference on Marvel movies. They're entertaining, but I have a feeling they're going to get repetitive quickly, especially with this Avengers series. I guess I take that back a little bit because I'm excited for Ant-Man I think that could be extremely interesting, especially with Edgar Wright and Paul Rudd. That could be extremely fun to watch. And Guardians of the Galaxy, that looks new and different. So maybe they just need to kind of phase out some of these characters and bring in those new ones. You know, bring in Ant-Man. Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be different. It's going to be hard to tie in with these guys, but that's fine by me. It's also unfortunate that these actors are locked into some ridiculously long contracts, like at least 6 movies. So that's a lot of Chris Evans playing Captain America, or that's a lot of times to see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. As much as you like it, I mean, as good as they are, it's a lot to see them do the same character. And they don't like it either. I've read articles. It's kind of crazy if you think about it a little bit more. But I don't want to get on that kind of rant. So I think I'll end it here. And I don't have a sign-off or anything for this one. But again, let me know if they say Iowa City if you see this soon. So I'll end it there. All right, bye.